Gordon Bennett. It's bloody freezing. It's February in the UK and it's 5 degrees. So the last video I posted up was about trying to get the brakes working, and I said I wasn't really prepared to spend any more cash on the drum brakes because you can do a disc brake conversion. Now the brakes for the conversion come off either an MG Midget or an Austin Spridgets as they call them. And a friend of mine who knows a lot more about these old cars than I do gave me a number for a fella who breaks them. And I phoned him and said, I've got an Austin A35 and I want to convert it to disc brakes. And he says, oh, no problem, I'll have all the gear. I phoned you back when I've routed through all my stuff. So I forgot about it. And a couple of days later, he phoned me back and says, I haven't really got enough stuff for the conversion. But I have got this. Now that is a knackered MG Midget. And the reason I bought it is because he kind of talked me into it. It's got the disc brakes on the front of it. He wanted it out of his lockup. He wanted the space for something else. And he said, if you're daft enough to come and take it away, you can have it. So another friend of mine organised a transporter, and it arrived here. Now, I was talking about going fully hydraulic on the Austin. If you don't know about them, the back brakes are sort of hydraulic. They've got a slave cylinder on the driver's side rear footwell. And then after that, it's levers and rods, which they work fine. But with this, I'll be able to go fully hydraulic because the back axle back plates you can fit onto the Austin. It's also got on a higher ratio final drive. I think it's a 4.2 in the Austin. This has got a 3.9 in it, which means you can do 70 mile an hour rather than 60 miles an hour more comfortably. I've done the same with the Mazda. The Mazda would have had a 4.1 in it. Now it's got a 3.9 in it. So same crack as that. It's also got stronger half shafts in it. So I'm making this quick video out in the cold on a Sunday, just to sort of let you have a look at it in its entirety before I start pulling it apart. I've sold this 40 quid. Jesus, Badil. I've got the scrap man coming on Monday to take away the rest of the MG Midget. And I've got to, for my car, I need the front suspension, and I'm taking the back axle out as well of it. I want the final drive out of it. So I've kind of got my work cut out. It's Wednesday now. I'm on nights, as you can probably tell by my appearance. So I've got to get cracking. And I've had the Haynes manual out. I bought a Haynes manual for it. It's brilliant. Rather than Googling YouTube stuff, I've had my Haynes manual out, showing you how to remove the front coil springs. These front coils have got a lot of energy stored in them, a lot of potential energy in them, and you can easily do yourself a mischief if they come flirting out at a high velocity. So to get them out, they've got a bottom plate, which you're looking at there. It's dark, but this bottom plate is the cup that holds the coil spring in. There's four well, I'm guessing they've got 1/2-inch head nuts on them. I don't know what metro, I don't know what imperial, I don't know how to talk about imperial threads. I don't really know. I'm kind of a metric guy. Anyway, by the by, you take the 4 bolts out individually and put threaded bar in there, and then you can slowly start to wind the nuts off, and it'll slowly let the spring drop out and release all the energy out of it. If you never see another video, I've done it wrong. This is very much the reward for all that. That was kind of time consuming, but I've learned by experience now. These threaded bars I've got are a bit too long. And what I should have done really was put a plate, like a spreader plate, over the bottom of the cups as well. And I'll explain that better when I get this off. So that's the bottom plate, and the nuts sit inside it. And if I'd have put a little plate over there, over that part, don't know if you can see that, then I'd have been able to wind the nuts off a lot easier, because as it is, I had to get a swan neck in there to get on the nut. But with a bit of luck, there should be free. Right, time for the other side. So this is the driver's side wishboning kingpin off the MG, off the Midget, and you can see there the fulcrum pin's worn through the wish. Well, this is like the wishbone part of it. It's had a repair there, and it's passed. Not a very good repair, and it's worn through here. I'm going to have to probably cut through here and here to release the kingpin from the wishbone. It's like being on Scrap Heap Challenge. Right, now we're talking. Right, that's that bit then. So, you need to get that pin, that fulcrum pin, out of the kingpin. So you can pop the pin out. Still in shot. There we go. That's the copper pin out. Now we need to see if we can yowzers, see if we can get the fulcrum pin out. So that's the fulcrum pin out. So that's it. I bought all that for them. What an idiot. And now, with everything off the car, it's time to say a final goodbye to the old Midget.